What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of At Home with Mark. It's season 7, episode 9. And again, privileged to have on another member of a band that I absolutely fell in love with almost a year ago, Mr. Alex Bailey from Eggy. Dude, thank you for coming on and doing this. Oh, no. Oh, you froze for a second, Alex.
Yeah, I think. Am I back?
You're back. You're back. Now you're gone. Now you're
Cool.
gone.
Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Hello.
Hey, man. How are you?
Oh no.
It's okay.
Oh no.
You're
I'm
in
great.
now.
How are you?
I'm good, man.
All right.
I'm good. Alex, dude, so much I want to cover with you, man. But I told you right before the show, and I will gush live on air with everyone so everyone knows. But I went with a good friend of mine to see Mo last New Year's, and Eggy was opening, and I wasn't familiar with your guys' music. And you guys came out and played a brilliant song that I love called Shadow, which I'm familiar with because I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm.
But you just are such a great drummer, and there's so many things I want to talk to you about. But then you started singing, and I was like, holy shit, this dude can sing and he can play drums. And that's something that I love. And we were talking a little bit about Jellyfish and Andy in that band is a fronting drummer singer. So we can get into that later. But dude, love the music, love your pocket, love the groove. First thing I want to ask you though, what's your earliest musical memory?
Ooh, earliest musical memory. I remember my mom. She used to drop me off at my grandma's house when she would go to work, and I remember her playing like these records that I didn't really think about until a few years ago, when they would I would start just hearing them out and about, and it would flash back to me.
Oh no, I lost you again, Alex. You still there, buddy? Oh no.
Yeah, I might need to move upstairs.
Okay, do
If
whatever.
that's all right.
Do whatever you need to do.
I just don't want this to keep happening. Let's see.
That's all good.
It's
weird. It was fine when we were just chatting.
I know, right? As soon as it went live.
Of course.
Yes, I just want to make sure this doesn't destroy everything when I switch this.
Unless your homies are watching it live in the house, then that might cause it to happen too. And you're muted now too. That might have been on purpose though.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched them. They're watching this and they're taking up all the bandwidth.
You nerds. You guys, and that's the other thing too, man. Like, you guys it's just a great group of guys, man.
It should be much better when I get to my room.
Nice.
I am. The connection's too bad downstairs. Uh-oh. Apparently people are getting bumped off the internet left and right.
Oh no.
Let's see, is this better?
Let's give it a whirl. See what happens.
All right.
Get comfy, get cozy.
Get just right under the covers.
Oh, dude, we gotta talk about New Haven too, about pizza. I got some questions.
Oh yeah, you're a fan?
I haven't been there, and I was just talking to my wife the other day, and I was like, dude, we have to take a trip. It's only 4.5 hours from me. So I was like, we got to drive up there for a weekend and get pizza.
Where are you?
Baltimore, north of Baltimore.
Cool.
So anyway, you were saying in the car with your mom.
Yeah. So my grandma would play, honestly, the earliest songs I remember hearing, it was Stay Up Late by the Talking Heads.
Really?
Yeah. Which nobody, a lot of people don't really know that song. And it's not one that, it's not one that people cover. Fish doesn't cover it, or it's not really on the radio that much, but it's about a baby, and it's the perfect song for, to play to a small child. That one, I remember some Aretha Franklin songs, and definitely respect. And yeah, I just remember like my grandma babysitting me and like playing me all these songs that I go back and listen to now, and I was like, "Oh, damn, she was listening to some hip stuff."
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So did you get, like, the bug when you were a kid because of, like, your grandmother, or was it, like, the
I
whole
think my
family?
my whole family, not so much my dad, my mom's side are all like big music fans. Um, I think one of the biggest things that kind of triggered the musical mind for me was my brother was just a huge music nerd, but and an amateur musician. He played saxophone in high school, um, and like played in jazz band and stuff, but never took it that seriously. But he absolutely loved music and was a huge festival goer and concert goer. And I think just growing up around that, a lot of things I kind of looked to my brother for influence. And he would go to like Bonnaroo and Coachella and stuff, and he'd come back and have all these stories. And I
Yeah,
think
man.
as soon as I started getting old enough, I was like I need to do that. Like that
Yeah.
sounds like so much fun.
How much old what's the gap in age between you
7
guys?
years.
Oh, okay,
So
that's
pretty
substantial.
sizable. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of funny because once I was like a preteen, he was out of the house. So that was kind of when I feel like subconsciously I was almost like, I need to be the music guy in the house.
Yeah,
And
man.
that's like right when I started picking up drums. And even before that, I was kind of dabbling. Like in elementary school, I tried out euphonium. I was like, this is kind of lame. nothing, nothing against anyone that plays euphonium, but
Now it's probably kinda hip. You're like, "I could pick that
yeah,
up, bro."
right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
I
So
wonder if I still have one at my house. Start blowing.
dude, that's cool, man. Did you
Yeah,
so your brother I mean, I have a very similar experience. My older brother was, like, a big influence on me getting into
yeah.
music and stuff,
Hmm.
so that makes total sense. Are there other singers in your family?
Not so much. My mom, she did like a little like community choir. She wouldn't. She has a nice voice. She wouldn't call herself a singer, probably. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I always sung around the house. There's like videos of me, um, when I was probably 6 or 7 years old, like singing back the songs that my grandma would play.
Nice.
There's like home tapes of me just kind of like walking around the house singing. But no like serious singers in the family. I
That's
think,
interesting.
yeah, it
Did
kind
you
of just was in there somehow.
Yeah, so your whole music career, like, when you started playing with other people, were you singing, like, primarily in bands or
No, no, I mean, I think it was kinda like a party trick. Like I'd like I would sing every once in a while, like in band practice or something, and my bandmates would be like, "What? You can you can sing?" But then I would just kinda like tuck it back away, and they'd
Man,
be like, "Do you wanna sing a song?" I'd be like, "No, no, 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 no."
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
I don't know if it was a shy thing or just or a confidence thing, but it's funny, we played at summer camp, music festival this past May, and that was, like, the festival I'd go to since I was, like, 15. From, like, 15 to 21, I went every single year 'cause I grew up in Chicago.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, the rest of the guys were in Connecticut. I grew up in Chicago. Um, so I went with my friends every single year. It usually ended up the day of the last day of school, of high school. So we would
Oh,
literally finish our last final and go straight to summer camp, which was incredible. But
yeah.
we played this year, and all of my friends that used to go were there, and they
Mhm.
got to see us. And I think that set I sang like 4 of the 7 songs or something. And they came up to me afterwards and were like, dude, what the
Yeah.
hell? Like, I
That's
had no
funny.
idea that you could sing at all.
And you got a great voice, dude. Like
Thank you.
to sing to even to attempt to sing Chris Steele tunes, like
Ah,
when I heard you guys cover that, man, first of all, you killed that. Like you did a
thank
great
you.
job on that. That's like one of my favorite Punch Brothers songs. So
Oh my
it's
god, it's so good.
so good.
It's
I
so
mean,
good.
like I constantly put that record on when I'm cooking. Like I'm the cook
Yeah,
in the house.
yeah,
My wife loves that stuff too. Like she's big into like bluegrass and stuff like
yeah.
that, but she's not into like heavier stuff. Like she won't.
Right.
Like if I put on a Pearl Jam record in the house, she's like, no, 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 like
Yeah.
no, thank you.
Well, that's like that. They're the perfect blend of like bluegrass, but all this like progressive music and almost like rock and more intense things that you don't really hear in bluegrass.
Yeah, they're
But yeah,
great.
that song that took a while for me to nail. There's like flips into falsetto and like going super high to super low and
Yeah.
stuff. And I remember like when we had the first idea of playing that song, they were like, "You can sing that, right?" I was like, "I don't think so." Like
So this
he's
wasn't your idea?
no, I mean, I think I was playing it a lot and like, but I think Jake is usually the one that's like, "Yo, we're playing this,"
He
and we're
nailed
all
it. You
like,
did.
"Let's do it."
Yeah, you did it. I mean, he nailed it.
Yeah.
So when you guys let's talk a little about this because this is so interesting because I always find how bands choose cover tunes to
Hmm.
be like such a like a cool like history and like a almost like a little adventure because everybody listens to different stuff and you don't want to like repeat things that other bands kind of
Yeah.
beat to
Right.
death and stuff. So like do you guys if you're on the road and you're listening to playlists, do you like is that how it comes about?
Yeah, sometimes it kind of depends on the cover. Sometimes it's something that we've just one of us or multiple of us have been listening to, whether it's something new or something old. Um, and it's just kind of like in our blood at the time, and we're just kind of like it's a no-brainer almost. You
Mhm.
know, if it's something that I'm like putting on in the house or putting on in the van all the time, somebody, it might be me, but it might be somebody else to be like, yo, like you've been listening to that song, like let's learn it, let's do it.
Yeah.
um or it's, we have like Sirius in the van, Sirius XM,
Mhm.
um which is so fun to just like scroll through and like end up in a random era and like just kind of, we'll stick on like the Bob Marley channel for a long time, and then we'll be like, you know what, let's listen to like classic rewind or
Yeah,
any of like
baby.
the classic rock things. um and we'll like hear a song we haven't heard in a long time and be like, yo, this would be really fun. Like I think that happened with Kiss from a Rose. um
Yeah.
uh I think that happened with like an Eagles tune or something. Um, Sometimes it's in the van, and we've learned songs in the van before. Like, I remember we were on the way to play in Detroit, and I think Detroit Rock City came on in the van, like on the way there, and we were like, "Yo, like get out the guitars, like
Yeah.
we got to do this."
That's awesome.
And I think we learned it the day before or the day of or something.
Oh man, that's super fun. I mean, that's the kind of risks that like these are the kind of things I like about bands that are living dangerously like that. Because it's
Mhm.
like if you don't do that stuff, it's like, you can kind of
Right.
get into the motions
Just
of it.
playing by the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys
Yeah.
don't do that. And I love that about you guys. I came to the show at Pier 6 in Baltimore. That was a great show too.
Oh, that was
Um,
with Humphreys?
yeah, that was so fun.
Yeah.
Um,
That
here,
was playing with them that's like a dream come true for me. They were my introduction into this whole thing, into like the jam world.
oh wow.
With going to summer camp, like I was when I went with my friends to summer camp at first, it was like to see EDM and to see like DJs and like Pretty Lights and Skrillex and stuff.
Wow.
And then one of my friends was super into jam bands, and he was like, you gotta come with me to see this band. Like, I think you're gonna like it. Because even before I was into EDM, I was into like System of a Down and Rush and stuff. And it just ended up being this like perfect blend of, like the community aspect of the EDM stuff that I liked, of
Mhm.
like going to raves and like meeting all these new friends, there is this like sense of community, but also with all this like heavy progressive rock that I loved before.
Yeah.
So it pulled me in, and I kind of stayed in.
Yeah, man. There has
Yeah.
to be like that had to be a pinch moment too, like getting to play that when you've been going there your whole life and like
Yeah.
get on that stage. That had to be like surreal.
It was insane. I mean, I think the stage we played this year, Starshine, was the first stage I went to at that festival, and saw like Gogol Bordello and Aqueous and like Talk and all these bands that now I can call friends of mine, which
Yeah.
are is insane. I'm always feeling so grateful for it, because we're all of us are fans first.
Yeah.
That's what got us into it,
Yeah, man.
and to just be alongside all these giants in my mind is extremely exciting, and I feel very grateful.
Yeah. Well, you guys are all just great dudes in general. So it's like I'm so happy that when good things happen to good people too. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
And like Mo has been my favorite band my whole life,
Yeah.
as far as listening to jam bands. I mean, and Fish, but like I had a special kind of connection with like how Chuck played the instrument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like seeing you open up for them on his first gig back after, kind of battling back after that stroke and then like falling in love with what you guys do. I
Hmm.
just it felt like, the Grinch, like the heart grew 3 times that night. I was like, this is such a
Yeah.
great night, you
It was
know?
incredible. It
Yeah.
was
It's
amazing.
so good,
And
dude.
to be able to rejoice in the moment, like, be basically have our job done, and, like, because we were done by, I don't know, 9 o'clock or something, and then we got to just, like, hang out and witness that incredible moment of Chuck coming back on stage,
Mhm.
and, seeing the excitement and all the fans and the band on stage, and, like, get it like, being a part of that, like, not only just there, but also a part of that whole night
Yeah, man.
was incredible.
Yeah.
Nothing compares to that.
I can only imagine. I mean, I was
Yeah.
on the rail, practically on the rail. I got there
Really?
early so I could get all the way up front. And
Mhm.
I'm a nerd. I do that all the time, dude.
Yeah.
And it was just like hearing you guys play for the first time and like and being a musician myself and like being able to tune into each of you guys and pay attention to like what you're doing and like how well you're communicating. That's not an easy thing to do.
Mhm.
And when you listen back to what like the live records that you guys have put out, warts and all, like and when there's moments that I know Jake was like, I can't believe we're putting this out, but yeah, people like it.
Right, right.
Um, and it's true. Like I like hearing when there's like a little bit of like little clam or something because we're all human. And that's what
Yeah,
happens when you
totally.
take risks.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about music, man.
That's when we know we're on the right track, is like, we don't wanna stay safe, we don't wanna stay in one lane, so we go far out, and we don't really have, any sort of formulas for our improvising. So when you go completely out there having no idea what you're gonna do, something like that's gonna happen. The flubs are gonna happen. So not we can't all be on the exact same page for 2.5 hours or 3 hours.
Totally, man.
We try to minimize those things, and make those moments smaller and smaller, and less. But I think it's a good sign when some weird shit happens.
Heck yeah, dude. I love that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um, let me and one more thing just before I forget this about the cover tunes. You know what? Here,
Hmm.
I'm gonna throw one in the hat for you. Are you into Dawes at all?
I I want to be more. I enjoy everything I hear, and I just haven't, like, gone totally in. We've played Comes in Waves before,
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good one.
one of the newer ones, but no, I honestly, if you said some songs, I probably wouldn't recognize them, because I haven't listened too much.
I can hear you singing. There's a song called "One of Us,"
One of Us.
and it's a rocker, dude.
Sweet.
So write that shit down because like
I'm gonna write
I
it
I
down right
could hear
now.
you belting that out. Taylor's got
Alright.
such a great voice,
He's
dude.
got such a great voice.
It's nuts.
Say it
Uh,
one what was it again?
One of Us.
One of Us.
It's my
I will
favorite
check
song.
that out. Yeah, they're
Um,
awesome. They're
yeah.
they're they're I haven't seen them live, but everything.
Oh, ouch,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, yeah,
Yeah,
you'll have a bigger appreciation for them if you see them live too.
totally.
Like, they're all monsters.
Taylor's a really good guitarist, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He's great. Trevor Manier, who's the other guitar player. Trevor's
Mhm.
been on my show. Lee Pardini, who's
Oh,
friggin'
yeah. I
woo!
know him mostly from, Theo Katzman's band.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
He's
incredible.
is just, like, otherworldly, dude. Like, he just put
Mhm.
out a jazz record. I don't know if you've checked out
Oh,
any of his
really?
stuff on Ground Up, but holy
No.
shit, dude, those records are so good. And Griffin Goldsmith, the drummer,
Yeah.
he's been on here too. He's such a great player too.
Oh, that's amazing. Good
But anyway,
company.
yeah, dude, for sure. You gotta see them live. I want to ask you about because I know you're a multi instrumentalist too. Like I know you play some guitar, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So how did that happen when you were young, or did that as you got older and more mature as a musician? Did you start dabbling in stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of had, a pretty good ear where I'm able to pick up an instrument and, like, learn something really easily. Um, but getting to the next step of, like, improvising or, like, really getting scales ingrained in my fingers and stuff, like, I usually don't end up there.
Hmm.
But whether it's bass or guitar or even when I played saxophone for, like, a year when I was in, like, 5th grade, 6th grade, um I was able to just like look up, the chart or a YouTube video or something and get it really quick, which has been fun. I've done a couple of like acoustic gigs, which I've talked about doing more recently. I want to start getting more into that. Um, but for that, like my learning the songs is like super easy for me, and I can just kind of like my fingers, I know enough in terms of like the chords and the shapes and stuff to just be like, oh, E, A, G, blah, blah, blah. That's all right. I got this song.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it helped that I kind of was bouncing around from instrument to instrument when I was younger to eventually end up at the drums.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, it started with euphonium, and then I went to saxophone, and then I tried a little guitar and I was like, this is too hard. And then I actually lived in Kenya in Africa for a year when I was in 3rd grade.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
cool.
my dad works in like HIV prevention research.
Okay.
So he took the whole family there for a year, which
Wow.
was an incredible experience.
I
But
bet.
they had a music program at the school I went to, and I tried to do drums, but they only had a snare drum there. So for 3 weeks, I was taking lessons and just doing like, and I was like, this is really boring. And I was like, I don't think I want to do this. So I took piano for the rest of that year. And then when I started middle school in 6th grade, I was like, I think I want to try drums again because they had like a full drum set at the school,
Mhm.
and that's when I fell in love and stuck with it. But I
And
think bouncing around that kind of helped my ear to just open up into the melodic world, even though what I ended up on didn't isn't very melodic in its
yeah, but you
nature.
got a hell of an ear to sing and match pitch and harmonies and all that stuff from it too, probably, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
pretty awesome.
absolutely. I think like for a lot of our harmonies, I'm usually the one that's like picking them out and hearing there's the root third and fifth, the obvious ones, but then like hearing the like seventh that's like a leading tone going into it where there's like a little bit of like dissonance and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, my ear just kind of gravitates towards that, which I, I think had to do with something in there.
Do you feel like since I mean, we missed each other at Berkeley, but, like, do you feel
Hmm.
like ear training and stuff was, like, adding to what are you already established, or
Yeah, definitely added to it. I feel like I was a little cocky because I felt like I already had. the like natural ability to like hear those things.
Right.
So I don't think learned as much as I could have because I was kind of like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
Um, and it wasn't, I don't think the teachers I had were like super tough on the like grading. So I
Mhm.
kind of got away with just knowing what I already knew and just sticking with that. But I think if I dug in and like refined it, I could be a lot better. But that was definitely the most fun subject for me because
Yeah.
it was just kind of like a playground for me because I was like, oh, I got this, you know.
Yeah, man.
Um, I feel like harmony as well, like my harmony classes.
Yeah, man.
I feel like I could have learned a lot more, but I didn't feel like they did a great job of like applying it to actual music. It ended up feeling like math to me, where it was like, here are the rules that you can do with like parallel fifths and what harmonies you can use where, but it was all on paper pretty much.
Yeah.
And they didn't really like apply it as much as I felt like they could have to like actual music and creating music. Um, not to slander Berkeley, but
No, no, no. I mean, I felt like my reharm class was the most and like kind of
oh,
expressive in terms of me like expanding my harmonic knowledge and like how to approach harmonizing around a melody. Like it's almost like
yeah,
orchestrating, you know what I mean?
totally.
So
What did you major in?
songwriting.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I did performance and engineering.
oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Right on.
yeah.
Did you do any like fun ensembles, like how they have a Tower of Power ensemble and all that stuff? Did you do anything?
Yeah, I did a Motown ensemble
Oh,
that
hell
was
yeah, dude.
really fun. I did this one, it was called Electronic Improvisation
Ooh.
Ensemble. So you came in with whatever sort of like electronic setup you wanted. It was supposed to be for EPD students, which is like electronic production and design.
Mhm.
But because I was doing professional music, it was kind of like create your own major. Um, I was able to like sneak it into my curriculum.
Yeah.
But I remember what did I do? I built this like Ableton rig where I had an iPad that had like keyboards on it, but it was connected to Ableton where I could, and then I had an MPC where I was able to affect the keyboard sounds
Oh
and
man, that's dope.
also a drum pad. And so it was like 10 people in a circle all linked up like via MIDI clock, and we would all just kind of the professor would turn off the lights and just be like, somebody start.
That's so
It
cool, man.
was crazy. I mean,
Uh,
I remember getting like stupid high on like some edibles and going and just like being out of my mind, being like just turning knobs. And I definitely knew the least in terms of like the design
Yeah.
and Ableton and stuff. I was super new to Ableton, but I think I found like a template online that I was able to use and get away with, just kind of twisting some knobs and
Oh,
making some
man.
cool sounds.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
that was really
But
fun.
yeah, I mean, it's funny because like I've had conversations. I actually did a podcast with my friend Mike and Rob Compa from Dopapod. And
Mhm.
we were talking because Mike went to GIT and Rob and I went to Berkeley. And we were talking about like is music school right for you? And I was just like, That's very subjective." It's
Oh,
like,
totally.
you know,
Totally
it's
depends on your personality.
yeah, and it was great for me because I was able to kind of stretch my legs. But the only reason I went there, I actually work for them. That's my day job.
Oh,
So
amazing.
for the online program,
Sick.
but what's cool about for me at least was cool is that I went there to find out what jobs are out there for songwriters. I have
Mhm.
no friggin' clue what I can do. This is what I
Right.
love to do. How do I do this and make money? You
Totally.
know? And for that, it's practical and it can be helpful, but it's not for everybody. But
Yeah.
like, for somebody like you, you're in, the school of hard knocks right now. Like you're touring,
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
playing, you're writing music, you're recording records, you're doing what everybody that goes to Berkeley wants to do,
Right.
you know? So it's
Which
like,
was funny, like, when I was there because all of my friends were just doing Boston gigs and playing in Cambridge, playing, um, like, these tiny, little bars and stuff and trying to just, like, make bands at Berkeley, um, and meanwhile, I joined Eggy, like, 2 years into Berkeley, um,
mm,
and I was traveling to New Haven and Connecticut to practice, but then from there going to Massachusetts, back to Massachusetts to gig, going to New York to gig, like going all around the Northeast with Eggy. And it got to a point where I was like I'm already doing the thing that
yeah,
I'm studying to do. And there was like a little bit there that I was like, should I leave? Like, should I just,
mhm,
just drop out and just kind of continue on the path that I'm on? But I stuck with my plan and finished with, which I'm really happy I did, because some of my favorite classes were in my last couple semesters,
yeah,
and where I ended up going into the like more engineering side of things was all in like the last 2 years of school, and I learned stuff that I use every single day now,
dang, okay.
because I do all of the mixing for our Nugs shows,
Oh, I
and
didn't know
all
that.
of the live compilations and stuff. I do all the mixing for that. Um,
Damn, Alex, I did not know that, man.
yeah, so that's like literally every day I'm applying stuff that I learned in those classes, and I'm super grateful for all those teachers. Those my favorite teachers were in the engineering department.
Yeah, man.
Um, so super happy I stuck with that.
Yeah. Well, dude, wow. I had no clue that you were responsible for all those great sounds on those records. It's
Yeah.
killer, dude.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
hey, let me ask you. So, let's talk about drums.
Yeah.
So I told you. So I'm a drummer at heart. I'm a guitar player that wishes I could play the drums as well as I can
Mhm.
play guitar. And I feel like there's this thing. I'm always attracted to great drum sounds. Like, talk to me about, like, drum sounds that inspire you, whether that's, like, records that you've heard that, like, what do you go for when you go into a studio or when you're tuning your kit? Like, because every time I've seen you play live, which is only twice now, and I'm gonna come to the one in Baltimore too when you guys
Yeah.
come back, but your drums always sound great too. So, like, how do you find all these great drum sounds? What's your approach?
Yeah. Well, it's something I've been thinking about a lot recently because I'm looking into a new kit. Um, I love my drum set right now. I've had it for almost 10 years, and it's been like my one kit. And I'm not the kind of guy who's had, six different kits that I can like switch out toms or switch or decide I'm gonna play this kit tonight. Like, I've always kind of had my one drum set. So I think it usually ends up like around this time, around 9 or 10 years, that I'm like, I need something new. Um, what I've been gravitating towards a lot recently is more vintage sound. What I have right now is super punchy and super warm and modern sounding, which I really was going for, when I started playing in Eggy and when I started at Berkeley. I was going for that like attack, like, very sharp sounding. But recently what I've been like hearing in records that's what I'm like gravitating towards is like super w- like juicy. It's hard to just throw out a bunch of adjectives and actually have it um resonate. But I think a lot of the like 1960s, 1970s Ludwig kits
Yeah.
are like every time I play one, I'm like, oh my gosh, the toms they like sing. My toms I feel like I hit and it's just like doom. It's a little bit dead and
Quick decay.
yeah, quick decay, and I want something that I can, like, play at any velocity or volume and, like, have a different different tone, a different life to it. And I feel like it's all in that, like, I don't know if it's the maple wood that they used in all of them, um or just like old heads that have been on there since the 80s. But I've been going to drum shops and stuff, and trying out all these vintage kits, and it's not like the older the better necessarily, but there's something magic in that era, in like the 60s and 70s, that
Yeah.
just, it's so warm, and it's so like, it's just more musical in my opinion, and I think that's just where I'm at right now. And I've always been the kind of guy that has like the two toms here, the two toms here, the two floor toms,
Yeah.
and like all these bells and whistles and stuff. And I think what I'm going for now is just quality over quantity.
Mm.
Um, when I graduated high school, my mom was like, "Let's go to a drum shop and you can pick out any kit you want." And I went into the drum shop, and I think there were some vintage kits, there's some like three-piece older kits, but then my like eyes, I like turned around and I saw this like seven-piece PDP kit, and I didn't even care what it sounded like that's what I was walking home with.
uh,
And I think once my ear matured, like 2 years later, I was like, "Oh, this is a
like,
real piece
damn
of
it.
crap."
Now, was this like Chicago Music Exchange, or was this
This
like,
was No, it wasn't it wasn't. I love Chicago Music
dude, that
Exchange.
place is, I spent 2.5 hours in there
It's
doing nothing. And I was
it's
just,
like a
uh,
wonderland.
yeah.
Even with, you step into the acoustic room, like it's
Mhm.
all these like Martins from the 50s and 60s, and they just sound incredible. But I forget what, I think it might have even been like a Sam Ash or a Guitar Center or something. Um, but nowadays I've been going like pretty much only to vintage shops, and just trying to find the one that's gonna stick out to me. I'm also considering like reaching out to some companies and stuff. There's companies like CNC Drum Company that
Oh, yeah.
they make new drums that they're built like vintage drums. So they have the vintage sound, but not like the vintage problems
Price.
and price. But also like a lot of those older drums, if they're sitting in a trailer for, a week going from hot to cold, they're gonna, when you take them out, they're gonna be like totally out of tune and
Yeah.
whack sounding. So thinking about looking at some of those sort of kits, the newer vintage sounding kits.
Yeah. Griffin
Um,
Goldsmith played those from Dawes, played those for a long
CNC,
time. Yeah,
yeah,
for a
nice.
long time. There's another company in Austin. What's that company in Austin that makes like kind of vintage
Um,
inspired drum sets? Because
what would that be?
my buddy's in Austin. He actually went to Berkeley too. He's a great drummer. He plays with the Band of Heathens. I don't know if you know that band,
Oh, yep, yep.
but he plays whatever that Austin-based company is. I can't
Yeah,
remember
I'm
what it is off the
blanking
top of my
right
head.
now.
But what's your snare drum?
Snare drum is a pearl sensitone,
Oh, okay.
a brass. Yeah, so that's another thing is last 6 years or 5 years, I've been playing a metal snare, and now every time I play or hear a wood snare, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I think I might need to go back. It's just a constant battle. It's also like um, coated heads versus clear heads.
Mhm.
Every time I feel like I've settled in and love what I'm playing, like I'm playing coated heads right now. I'll hear somebody with clear heads, and I'm like, oh, damn it, is that what I want?
You
Like,
don't have to tell me I'm a guitar player. You know how many pedals I
right?
have in a drawer, in several drawers right next to me? It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
it's
get
a
it.
constant battle, but the ideal, once I, just keep saving money and am in the position to buy more things, like I just want the racks of stuff, of things to be able to choose from. And as soon as my like soul or my brain wants to switch to something else, like I have something right there to to switch to, but you know, it's a constant journey.
That's cool. I can't wait to hear you play on one of those kits, man. That'd be dope.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we have some time off after this run that I think that's probably my window because we're going on a tour with Daniel Donato
Yeah.
in
Mhm.
December, and that's kind of my goalpost for when to have my new kit.
That's awesome,
Um,
dude.
so yeah, you'll hopefully one of these Instagram posts or one of these shows you'll go to, you'll be like, oh, there he did
There
it.
it is.
Yeah.
That's dope, dude. I hope that works out.
Thank
Um,
you.
so let me ask you, so as far as songwriting, I asked Donnie and Jake this a little bit about when you guys are working on music and writing music together.
Yeah.
But and they were both talking about like the new stuff that you guys have done and how you were trying to like figure out how to interpret it live and everything.
Yeah.
Um, can you tell me a little bit about your process in terms of, if you don't write, you're not writing the part, right? You're not writing
Mhm.
the harmony, the chords, the lyrics and stuff. But if Jake comes to you and says, "Hey, I wrote this cool thing. I want you to sing it." How at that point do you process, how do I serve the song on the drums?
Totally.
Like, how do
Totally.
you approach doing that?
It's a constant work in progress, you know. I was just Jake just had his bachelor party this past weekend.
Oh, hell yeah.
And yeah, it was a great time. Um, but one of our friends who writes songs with us, Pat Amaranti, he's brilliant lyricist. He's got an incredible brain. I was speaking to him about it and how I want to serve the song. I feel like I need to be really close to it, which I feel like I haven't developed that relationship with the song for a lot of the things I'm singing. And I was talking to him about meeting with him and really getting inside of where he was coming from when he was writing it. Because a lot of the songs end up singing are his lyrics,
Mm,
and sitting down with him and just basically like interviewing him and getting to know like what was the state of mind he was writing it from, what are these characters, who are they based on, anything like that, to get really like close to it. Because a lot of times I'm singing, I don't think it's maybe something that the audience notices, but I'm like almost on autopilot. I feel sometimes where I'm not like feeling the song as much as I want to, or as much as I should. And I think it's something that I'm a journey that I'm starting on right now, that's like I said, I don't think the audience notices it now that the meaning is not there, but I want them to notice when it is. Like I
yeah.
want them to feel that change and be like, damn, now I'm like, that song is resonating with me more now than ever. Um, I feel like I've done it a little bit more with Jake and Donnie with stuff that they've written, because you know I'm usually there when they write it because we're all in the house together.
Right.
I feel like those songs I can be a little bit closer to, but Pat, he creates these worlds and these beautiful um, landscapes with his words that I'm starting to feel the disconnect with. Disconnect isn't the right word, but just lack of true like passion and connection with it.
You want to
Uh,
emote what the song is
yeah,
about. Yeah.
yeah. I
Mhm.
want I want the audience to feel what he was feeling when he wrote it.
Yeah.
And I am the conduit for that. So I want to like do the best I can to do that. But another thing is, as a drummer, it's tough because my body is doing so many things,
Mhm.
um where like I end up, my heart rate is going so fast
Yeah.
sometimes, especially like coming out of a jam where we're going in and coming out of it into the vocals. Like I have to like calm my body down because
Yeah.
it's like going so fast, and sometimes I end up going to the mic and my voice is shaky, or I'm out of breath and I'm like grasping for the words and like taking deep breaths in between every word. And I think that has the ability to take, you know, a viewer or the listener out of it if I'm either like physically or audibly, you know, not like keeping up with myself.
Right. I
So
don't I would be
that's
willing to
tough.
bet people don't notice that as much as you might think, though.
Yeah,
You
yeah. I
know?
think it's something like you know, if as a musician, I'm sure if you're performing or just playing and you're taking a solo, like you might notice your mistakes and be like, ah, that wasn't it. But and somebody else is like, what are you talking about? Like you sounded great.
Right.
But for you, you're like, I know I can do better. Like I
Mhm.
know that that's not my personal best. Like I think that's where it comes from more than like, oh, the audience is gonna they're not like they're not liking what I'm doing or they
Yeah,
think that
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
messing up. It's more like I want to listen back because I am gonna listen back. I'm gonna
You have to.
mixing it, yeah. And I don't want to be like, oh, that's not it.
Yeah. Your
I wanna
time
listen.
is so good too, man. Like, your time like, when I was listening to the most recent live record you guys put out,
Mhm.
it might have been in Shadow when you guys did, like you ramped up BPM wise.
Yeah.
Um, it was, like, seamless. Like, you guys were, like, so locked. And it was, like even though the BPM, you could tell it was speeding up, it was, like, intentionally speeding up.
Yeah.
But what you guys were doing, it was like your time, like, you could tell that you were keeping it all together kinda thing.
I
Um,
appreciate that, man.
so I can tell the intent
Mhm.
behind and I know what you're saying because like, if you're friggin' you've got 4 limbs moving at all times, man.
Yeah.
So, like, to do that and then to be like, "Am I gonna have enough breath support for this note?" You know,
Right,
like
I'm gonna sing this, like, this sultry emotional thing.
right, yeah. I can tell. Yeah, but that's pretty hip of you to, like, be like, "I wanna get close to it." So and especially when you go in to record something new, you wanna feel to emote what you're singing
Yeah,
on
totally,
wax, you know what I mean?
totally. Yeah,
So
that's it's
that's
definitely
cool.
something with the new record that I was trying to be aware of and trying to like when I'm listening back to a take, be like, am I feeling it the way that I want the listener to feel it? And like lines that might be aggressive in their like their nature and in the words, like put that aggression in there, or something that's really emotional or sad, like find that little crack in your voice that's gonna like emote that feeling. And listening back, I think I was able to execute the things where I felt like I needed to.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited for everybody to hear that.
I'm stoked too, man.
Yeah, I'm actually singing pretty much everything on the new record, which is
Look at
crazy.
you. Yeah. I know, I remember, when Jake was talking to me, he was like it's gotten to the point where I'm like, "Damn it, I'm just gonna give this Alex needs to sing this. Alex needs to sing this. Alex needs to sing this." And I'm like, "Yeah, he's got a great voice." I mean, like, if you got somebody in the band that can do stuff up in that upper register that you maybe can't, use the tools in the band, you
Right.
know?
Well, and it was interesting when that transition was first happening with Jake writing a lot of the melodies and the songs. We have very different ranges and voices. So when he first kind of started passing things to me, it would be in a register that was like too it was too low for me. And
Oh,
not where
wow.
I couldn't sing it, but it wasn't like in my sweet
Natural, like
yeah, it
mhm.
wasn't in my sweet spot, and it sounded great in where he was singing it because it's where he naturally was writing things, but we ended up kind of like shifting a lot of those things up and changing the key because worked for him, but it just wasn't like hitting right when I was singing it.
Yeah.
And then I think since then he's now knows the range. He needs to be writing the songs in like a little bit higher than that's comfortable for him. Where he
Mhm.
might be singing it in falsetto, but he knows when he passes it to me that I'll be able to hit it in my chest voice.
Yeah. And all you guys, I mean, Jake included, you guys all have great voices. That's what's fun to listen. I love bands that have multiple singers too, man. It's like listening to Mo. Like when you hear
Yeah.
Rob sing a song versus
Mhm.
Chuck versus Al, and
Right.
it's and now Nate. it's just a different flavor and it keeps things
And
interesting
I feel
all
like
night.
it's theatrical. It's you know, when you go see a musical, it's never one person singing. You have these different things keeping your attention, like like, oh, he's singing, like shining the light on this person. Oh, she's singing. You know, I think it keeps the fans on their toes.
Yeah,
And
love it.
I love everyone's voice in our band, and sometimes there's like the clash for, you know, whether it's Donnie or Jake writing something, and like me getting used to them singing it in practice, and then be like, okay, here you go, and I'm like, wait, no, no,
Let you sing it.
I love the your voice and how you sound in this, and I think it's ultimately up to the writer, and I'm I'm proud to be the singer for a lot of these songs, and the vessel for a lot of the words and the emotions. But there's definitely the times where I'm like, I don't know, I don't think this one should be for me. Like I love the way you sound on it, but
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a good democracy, man. There you go.
yeah,
I love the
yeah.
fact that you guys all live together. It reminds me of like Blind Melon when they first got together. We're all living together in a house in
Oh
North
yeah.
Carolina before they put out that first B Girl record.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's like a camaraderie there. Like when I was in college, I lived with my bandmates, and there was something about that feeling of like coming home from class and like sitting down. And this is not Berkeley. This is I have 2 degrees because I'm a dummy. Um,
Mm-hmm.
my
Not me.
first undergrad when I was a youngin', I remember coming back and my bass player would be there and I'd be like, "Oh, dude, I had an idea while I was sitting in class," when I should have been paying attention. And grab my guitar and just sit down and just start playing. There's something about the enrichedness, like the, rich camaraderie there.
Yeah.
You get to know people so well in and out, you know?
Well,
So,
there's also just the chance for anything to happen at any time, you know?
yeah.
Literally right before this call, um, Donnie was playing a new song
Hell yeah.
on the keyboards, and I came down, and my 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 goal coming down was to just like start grab my practice pad and just practice some rudiments and stuff. And he was like, you want to sit down and play this with me real quick? And we ended up like furthering the song a lot more from where it was at. And then as we were playing, Jake just comes down and grabs a bass and is like working on a bass line for it. And I unfortunately had to. I was like, "Hey guys, like I gotta go."
Oh, I'm
This is really
sorry.
no,
I'm
no, no.
so sorry.
There's so many times where we can be doing that, but
Yeah.
um, it just shows, you know, like something can happen at any point where we didn't set out to work on anything, but just because we're all in the same environment, and you can literally hear our walls are super thin. You can I'm upstairs and I can hear Donnie still playing downstairs. Um
Are you gonna rush
and
back down there after this and keep working on
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Probably, yeah.
That's awesome.
Um and yeah, I think it worked out really well because we moved in, I think it was June of 2019. So 7 months later was COVID
Mm.
and shutdown and stuff, where a lot of bands, they didn't play for a long time because it was like wrong to get together outside of your family or your bubble or whatever. Um, and we were able to just kind of get right to work, which
Yeah.
is exciting. You know, there were challenges within that of, you know, being in one building for that long. You kind of are like, you're like, there's just, you know,
Yeah, you need your space. It's
quirks
fair.
and tensions and stuff, but um overall it was really incredible, and some really good music came out of it. Some We did a lot of like the live streams and a lot of shows from home that we just wouldn't have really been able to do without
Yeah.
living together.
Yeah. Well, dude, yeah. I think you're on such a great trajectory right now. And it's like, I can't wait. I mean, I was like looking at my calendar the other day about like, when's that Eggy show? Oh yeah, it's only, like a month and a half or something.
Yeah.
Or not even, not even. Because I think I talked to Jake about I can come and I want to do like a rig rundown with him
Oh, sick.
and Donnie, kind of thing for my YouTube channel and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really love, like I said, I love seeing good people do great things. And, you guys have earned every bit of accolades you're getting right now, and it will continue to grow. I have no doubt about that. There's so many people I've been turning you guys on to, and turning, yeah, onto your music. And
Yeah.
it's just
Thank you
fun,
so
man.
much, man.
Yeah, dude, of course, man. I mean, I've been there and been on the road as a road dog. Now I just kind of the weekend warrior thing. It's a day job and
Yeah.
wife, child, all that stuff. But it's such a music is like a gift, and you guys get to share it with so many people and make people's lives better, even if it's just for like a 2 hour hit, you know.
Yeah.
Just escape from stuff and just be in the music and be in the moment with you guys as like a partner in crime with what's going on stage, that communication back and forth. It's just awesome, dude. Um,
Well, it's a pleasure to be able to do it, and I feel I think I said it earlier. I feel grateful every day that I get to do this, and
yeah.
it's a unparalleled feeling to hear, especially after COVID, like coming back to live shows and hearing all these people saying like, "Dude, I've been like listening to you every day for the last year, and like I've been looking forward to this day for all the year or whatever that I get to see you guys live." And that's so insane to me that, there's all the people that I get to meet and get to interact with at shows, but then there's like this whole world of people that are like listening online, and
Hmm.
there's just this kind of like this thing running in the background that I'm like not even fully aware of, that I it gets to manifest in such a beautiful way, and people end up being so excited to see us live. And I'm seeing people I've never seen before singing every word, which is just so insane to me, especially at this last tour, being in Seattle or being in Salt Lake City, so far from home, or even the Denver show. It was our biggest show to date, our biggest headlining show to date, and it was so far from home.
Yeah.
And that's just a crazy feeling,
Oh,
having all these people like belting the words and like their life depended on it, and it's our like goofy little band that we all just like live in the same house and write music. Sometimes you aren't aware of the like grandiosity of of what we're doing. It's a true pleasure, and I
yeah. Big
don't take
impact,
it for
man.
granted.
Big impacts. It's so cool. And the fact that you guys, yeah, like you can go all the other side of the country and people show up. It's
It's
pretty friggin'
crazy.
awesome, man. Pretty
It
friggin' awesome.
surprises me every time.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't want to hold you up, Alex. Let's do this lightning round get down. All right.
Hell
Let me
yeah.
explain to you what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put on a little BPM around 112, just for some, extra juice there.
Yeah.
Got 10 questions. I'm gonna ask you them. Not, it doesn't have to be rapid fire. You can explain your answers if you'd like. You don't have to. You can just burn right through them if you want. First one is always the same: Lennon or McCartney.
It's it's a clear choice for me, unfortunately. McCartney.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Me too. Tacos or burritos?
Burritos.
6.5 by 14 or 5 by 14 snare?
6.5.
The Office or Parks and Recreation?
So easy. The Office.
Okay.
I
Water.
haven't watched all of Parks and Rec, so it's unfair, but The
Okay, it's
Office.
pretty good, but I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Water slide or diving board?
Oh, water slide.
Okay,
There's a lot of different variety of types of water slides.
there
Diving
is.
board, that's a diving board.
Exactly. Yeah. Uh, lettuce or scary pockets?
Lettuce, definitely, just because the influence they've had on me, and
Okay.
Adam Deitch is playing.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. The most recent Scary Pockets record with David Ryan Harris. Have you heard that?
Oh no, I've seen some clips. It
Whoa,
sounds
dude.
amazing. I gotta listen to that.
That's another
He's
good
so
one.
good.
Oh, he's talk about a voice, man.
I know,
Oh,
I know. He's got so much swag too.
oh god. Buddy Rich or Elvin Jones?
Buddy.
Bumper cars or go-karts?
Bumping other cars in go-karts.
You're one of those guys. I see how it is. Time travel or space travel?
That's hard. I'm gonna say time travel.
Okay. And then here's the last one, Alex. Sometimes this is the hardest one for people. Sometimes it's the easiest.
Mm-hmm.
If you could take one album and erase it from your memory, doesn't have to be your favorite album of all time, but take one album and erase it just so you could go back and experience it for the first time again.
Mm-hmm.
What album would that be?
It might not be like my top answer, but the first thing that comes to mind, Animals by Pink Floyd.
Oh, okay. All right. Tell me why.
The dogs, both dogs and sheep, those songs have some of the most insane like production choices and different styles and crazy movements and stuff. Like I think it's Sheep that has a David Gilmour's voice like trails off and turns into a synth and starts oscillating.
I haven't heard that record in a long time, but now
Dude,
I need to go back.
at Jake's bachelor party, we had this big Airbnb with this nice like Bose system that went throughout the house. And at like 2 a.m. we threw on that album and we were just
Heck yeah.
such a journey. I've like and I was just talking to Jake about it that night. I was saying I want to cover one of those songs.
Woo.
Listen like soon to
Okay.
Animals. It's incredible. We play pigs, but I want to play dogs or sheep because those are some intent. It would be an undertaking because they're both like 10 minutes long or something, but
you guys can do it. You guys have the talent to do that.
Yeah.
Do it at the 8x10 club, my friend.
Ooh, you're a little biased, but
well, it's either that or check out that Dolls tune. But I'm telling you, Alex, that Jellyfish record, just you don't have to listen to the whole record right away, but like listen to the first track into the second track. The first track is an a cappella, like big vocal thing, it's like a lullaby.
Was the like Queen kind of vibe you were talking about.
Yeah, and that goes into this song called Joining a Fan Club, which is mind-blowingly good. But as someone who has done production, you will be like, damn, the whole time. Like I'm telling you, dude, it's that
I'll
good.
check it out. I'm about to be on a little long car ride, so I'll check it out right after this.
Sweet. Anything else you want to tell the folks before we head out here? Anything to promote?
Look out for new songs coming soon. Can't say exactly when, but we got some new stuff cooking and it's all very exciting.
Sweet. Yeah, I can't wait, man.
And we're on tour all the time.
Yes, yes, they are.
Come see us one of these many times.
Yeah, man. BV, thanks for moderating the chat again. Alex, dude, pleasure to meet you. And
it was so much fun, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for doing this. And tell Mike he's next.
Yeah.
However, I need to get in touch with that guy. He's next.
Amazing.
But
I'll see you in probably, I think it's like exactly a month and a couple days.
Yeah, it's pretty soon.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Alex, just hold on one sec. Everybody else, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.